Back to your VCARB Global Corporate Setup Guide. This is video 3 about info and permissions. So on the info and permissions tab, when you scroll down, all the way down, you're going to find here that this is where you're going to set the permissions for the overall corporation. On all of these drop downs, you have a choice. You can set the permission for all employee, no employee, or you can grant that permission by department. So let's start with the first one. Access the editor. Can your employees or your clients log in to access the editor? If you're going to allow everyone into the system, it's going to be all employees. I like to allow people in if I'm going to allow them to upload their own profile photo, if they want them to be able to edit their phone number or their email address. I would give them access. Now, maybe you're going to set it up so that you don't want anyone in there, only you, your HR department. You'll want to make sure that you change that permission to no employee. And then let's say that you have different departments or locations or different small companies who are using this, and you will want to set it up you want to set that permission at the department level. You will change it to permission granted by department. So we have additional things in here. I'm going to show you what they are. Add page permission. What is that? So when we come over here to the editor, it's this ability here to add a page to the list. Are you going to allow people to add pages? You've allowed them into the editor, so are you now going to allow them to add pages? If you're not going to allow anyone into the editor, you don't have to worry about this at all. Any of these, actually, you don't have to worry about this at all. Okay, access analytics. So access analytics is right over here. Are you going to allow people to be able to come in and see their analytics on their cards? Can they view this page? Yes or no? That's a decision that you get to make at the employee level or at the department level. Download a CSV of their contacts collected in the mobile app. Again, when we come back over here under My Contacts, there's a number of things here that they can do. They can export to CSV any contacts that they've collected in the app. In this case, there's nothing in here. If they had contact forms on your thing, there also would be a form here that people may have filled out that they could also download to CSV. And if you have set up any events, those could also be. Are you going to allow your employees to download this information to CSV? That is the permissions that we are setting over here. So again, just like that, download the card contacts, the contact form submissions. Are you going to allow that to happen? Maybe you will. Yes, maybe by no employees can do that, or maybe again you'll grant it by department. Access for update the editor, home, info, and card name. So what does that mean? I'll show you. It means, are you going to allow your employees or customers on this editor homepage, are you going to allow them right here to change their card name? In this case, this card name is Richard. Are you going to allow them to come in and change that to another name? That is the question. Yes or no? Can they change their own card name? So again, that's something that you will have to decide of whether or not you're going to give them that permission. And let's go back over here and see what else we have. Accessing the designs. Can they access and change their designs? Most likely you're going to say no, okay, because you're going to have a corporate template that you want them to use. But if you will allow them to do that, when they come over here to design and color, they're going to be able to choose any of these designs. And look at, I just completely destroyed my design. So you want to make sure that you are very careful about whether or not you're going to allow them to change their design, okay? And then let's go and see what else we have here. Email send to employee. Now this is whether or not you want the system. It's not actually a permission, it's actually more of a setting. And it's whether or not you're going to, when you welcome someone into our system, when you first add them as an employee, do you want the system, our system, to automatically send them a welcome email, okay? And we have a bunch of email templates that we will show you in a later time how to customize these for your business, okay? And they can actually be done at the department level as well. So the first question here, what we're asking is whether or not you want to use our system to send employees to your emails, such as a welcome email, whether they should be able to get that or not. And then we have another question here. should the vCard wizard pop up on first login of the customer or employee. And the wizard is a step-by-step system that helps them set up their card. So when you set up a new card, you will be importing their first name, their last name, their phone number, their email, or you'll be using one of our APIs to get that information in. If you are allowing people to build their own card themselves and add their own information, you're going to probably want to say yes to this. You're going to want to have it so that it is set up for all employees or by department if people can build their own card on this system. But if you're building their card, it's not necessary. You don't need it at all. And actually, it would cause problems. So you would say no employee. So that's basically the difference is if you're setting up the cards, everyone's sharing the same template, you don't need this. But if you are building, if you're allowing people to come in and build their own cards, you will need this. You will want to turn that on. So that's the basic info and permissions at the corporate level. Now we also have this set editor permissions. And I'm going to click on this, open editor permissions. And this opens up all of the blocks that you see in the editor. So I'll show you where these are. So when we're over here on the page editor and you want to add a new block, these are all the blocks. Now, you have the ability to turn these blocks on and off. Will you allow your clients or your employees to add blocks? If you say no, that block is going to be grayed out. So they won't have the ability to add a text block or add images and videos. Whatever you want them to have the ability to do, they will be able to do. So we can go through that as well. So it's very simple. You can turn these blocks on or off. And when you turn it off, it is grayed out. And I can show you what that looks like. Now I go back to add a new block. You can see that the text block here has been grayed out. I can't add it. When I click on images and videos, you can see that a number of the options here are grayed out and I can't do them. So that is what this info and permissions does. It allows you to turn things on and off. There are additional fields here too that we'll go through in more detail on how to set permissions, but you will be able to, again, are you going to allow people to turn on and off or to edit their contact forms, add coupons, their media library save blocks? Can they add documents? Can they add share buttons? Managing the contact information. This allows you to put in information for the company, all of the company address information that you want. And you can do this at a corporate level. If your departments are going to have different addresses and different information, you'll want to just do this at the department level. You don't need to do this at the corporate level. But this sets the address and you can allow people, can they edit the address on the contact information? Yes or no. Can they edit their company name? Can they edit their job title? You know, these are all things. Can they edit that when they're in the editor? So these are all things that you can set. We also have a term here called a trackable link, which we'll go into more details at a later time. Your social media here, again, you can put in the corporate social media and you can decide that this can be editable or not editable in their system, but it will be viewable on the card itself. So you determine what social media is shown on your cards. The same is true for our chat profiles. Now, these typically would be something that you would leave open so that the employee could edit it. But if you have specific information, like maybe a company join.me account that you want people to know about, you could put that there, I guess. And then again, these are just additional features. Are you going to allow people to add MP3 or MP4s, make their own buttons? Are you going to allow them to edit and add HTML to their site? And this is also very important. This is the title tag for the site, the Facebook title, the Google Analytics. This would go on every card. And we are updating right now the SEO section and the permissions associated with that. So this is going to change a little bit more as well. I love the footer section. This allows you to add a footer to every single person's card. And if you want that to be a standard footer, maybe with your copyright or your legal notice, if that needs to go there, this is where you would add that, and that would be shown on everyone's card, and you would say that it can't be editable. Okay, so that means that even the departments can't edit it. It's at the corporate level. We are talking here at the corporate level. So we have now gone through the corporate permissions today. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to set up a department and how to manage those permissions, and that will be in video 4.